bravery, and balance. A couple of the things you need to conquer the Greasy Pole in Gloucester.
I don't think anybody understands it unless you're up there.
Going out there and walking, it's a battle, you know?
Well, you gotta refuse to lose.
Everyone's getting drunk, everyone's excited.
It's literally like taking that walk of faith, that leap of faith.
I get just excited now as I did when I was 5 years old.
To me, it was just the most fascinating thing in the world.
This means the world to me, honestly.
Relentlessness. You identify as a Gloucester person, nothing stops you, including going all the way out to the end of that flag.
What is your understanding of this?
So all I know about it is that people try to get the flag, and it's like greasy, and it's the best show.
There's a whole platform where all these crazy guys, all decked out in costume and stuff, wait their turn, and then they try to walk this. A long, long pole that's loaded up with grease. And you try to walk or run or do whatever you possibly can to get out to the end to grab the flag before you go down.
It was kind of a local thing, you know?
Number one, there's this idea of an ordeal, you know, where generally men would try to prove their prowess, their masculinity, in kind of a healthy competition among comrades to accomplish some feat. If there's not some danger, if there's not some risk, then it's really not a test.
Okay, let you be boys now. Go ahead. They don't say women can't. We're just intelligent. I mean...
The Greasy Pole tradition was brought over from Sicily about the 1930s.
They wanted to see who had the best balance without taking rough seas, so they mimicked it with a telephone pole with grease.
When you have a maritime society, certain skill sets would be useful, you know, in a fishing community. Balance, dexterity, bravery. These are skills on display that you would want in your crew.
You go out and try to kill yourself together. That's the way I look at it. Let's go try to kill ourselves today.
Every day we go through things that we call ordeals. So the people who get on the pole, the ordeal then has so much more meaning to them. It's tied to the sacredness of the ethnicity, the community, you know, being part of, representing something that is important to them.
It's a reconnection to what brought us here in the first place.
It's in my blood. My father had walked for 17 years.
My father won it when he was younger.
The generations of either grandchildren or sons or friends or relatives, they want to walk with the champions.
It's a tradition that's been passed on through generations. So a lot of people, their fathers, their grandfathers, their uncles who have done this, who have been participating in this thing, you know, it's embedded in their soul.
When you win, it's a blackout. It's like the world goes gray. And it's just a feeling you honestly can't explain.
The end of the Greasy Pole is in a different part of the universe. You know what I mean? Once you get to that last 4 feet, you don't always remember what happens.
It's really hard to explain. I feel like you almost get into this like blackout mode where like it's really hard to like control what you're thinking, feeling.
You grab it, everything goes quiet. And it's like, kind of like a dream. It's like it's not really happening.
So it's the idea of transcendence of the material realm. Is it possible to experience that without dying? Is it possible to experience yourself as sort of being out of the body? That's what the ordeal can do, because you get that experience of the ineffable or the indescribable, being separate from yourself. And grasping that pole at the end is not just dying, but it's like being reborn.
That's the most unbelievable feeling I've ever had in my life. If I won the lottery, it wouldn't even compare to that.
It's a great feeling, though, once you get to the end of that pole and you do that with your friends and family watching. That was one of the greatest feelings.
I was born and raised on that pole. That's what I used to play out there as a kid. And the dreams of winning it was all that mattered. And it was the most amazing feeling in the world. It took my breath away getting carried through the streets of my own little neighborhood.
You know, they don't put you down for nothing. They'll carry you everywhere you want to go.
Basically, you have everyone jumping all over you. And you can't breathe. You think you're going to drown. You have the flag up in the air. It was like probably one of the, other than getting married and having my kids, thank you, hon, probably one of the greatest experiences of my life.
It might not mean a lot, you know, the rest of the year, but when you win, you know, for a very brief moment in time, you're kind of like a celebrity.
No, here I did it. It means the world.
I was over Sleepy Palazzola's house, and he was terminally ill. And I didn't realize his two daughters that were sitting in the room heard me whisper to the guy that I'd win for him. Thank God I did. And then, I don't know, he passed away that night. Next day, I met his daughters on the beach and gave him the flag. Surreal. Didn't feel like it was real.
The ordeal is a collective experience. Everybody is sharing in it. Because when somebody falls and hits their head on the pole, everybody grimaces, everybody feels it.
You have a different view of life when you grow up in a family where you have to take it in stride that you might not see your dad again. And that's just him going to work.
And sometimes they'd be back when they said they were, and lots of times they didn't come back for months.
It's bad weather, you knew that we were all on prayer. We all prayed. And when we knew that a boat didn't make it or someone didn't make it, you knew. It's like, what are we gonna do for that family?
I think their faith was their lifeline. The faith of the family at home and the faith of the fishermen out on their boats, because they'd be praying in a different way, but that faith was that lifeline that connected the household, the family back here in Gloucester, and those out on sea.
When my husband was fishing, there were storms, and you couldn't get in touch with them as easily. They would go from boat to boat to say, you know, they're so many miles behind us.
When you're out at sea, the only thing you got is what you either know or what the guy next to you knows, because once something breaks, you're the engineer, you're the carpenter, you're the electrician, you're everything.
It was a lot of anxiety back then. They didn't have the technology that they have today.
So you can imagine what this was doing to the culture here. This was a town of widows and orphans. You know, Gloucester lost more fishermen during the Civil War than they lost men on the battlefields.
I know people would watch to see their masks come through around the back shore to see them coming home.
We were losing on average 100 men a year.
Fishermen from Gloucester go where the winds of fortune blow, and danger is a sober certainty. But nature brings its tempters low for reaping what they didn't sow, 'cause it's the toll for harvesting the seas. Oh, the cries, the pleas, the women on their knees, praying that their missing fishermen come home.
And the whole thing of the Fiesta isn't a carnival. You know, it's the blessed of St. Peter saying to all the fishermen, you're home safely. You are saying, I am home.
I think everybody wants to feel that community. That's the exciting part.
The family aspect of the village is everybody getting together and feast. It's a feast of St. Peter.
Gloucester is a very connected community. My oldest daughter said, I have to get out of town before I accidentally marry a cousin. And that's not a joke.
One of my friends used to joke that in Gloucester, your family tree is a wreath.
Yeah, you pretty much know everybody or related to everybody. Kind of social life kind of gets a little gray.
People come in from all over. They fly back home to be home with their families and friends because they know everybody's here that 4 days, and guaranteed you can hit all your friends up in 4 days.
It's like fly home. They don't even fly home for Thanksgiving, but they fly home for Fiesta.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's almost like Christmas in the summertime.
Oh yeah, there's no question. For people down the Ford, especially, Fiesta's bigger than Christmas. We actually changed the words to the song. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be greasy pole walkers and big sing boat talkers grow louder as Sunday draws near.
So we have a little parade in my neighborhood. It's just kind of added a little spark to Fiesta. No permit, we have no permit. It's just the neighborhood. The kids get involved in it. It makes a lot of people happy. Fiesta is just a great way to see your family, see your friends. People that come to my house, I don't know a lot of them. They come with my friends, they come with my family. And I always tell people, bring good people, and good people come.
St. Peter's Fiesta, I think, simply means a way of connecting the past with the present for a lot of the younger generation. They want health, they want to be together, they want their faith to be an integral part of who they are.
I think most people come here and they can feel the energy. There is a palatable spiritual energy.
The way to understand a ritual is that it's oriented to the supernatural. Like, this is religious, so they have St. Peter there, and he's the patron saint of fishermen. These are community rituals. They reaffirm the social order. They put on display the institutions, the prominent people in the institutions. Everybody comes out and is visible, and so you understand how society is composed. And it's done in a kind of intensified, condensed form right through these ritual practices that are packed with a lot of meaning that the local people understand.
Oggi siamo tutti muti! Viva San Pedro! Oggi siamo tutti muti! Viva San Pedro!
Oggi siamo tutte mute, viva San Pedro.
Oggi siamo tutti muti!
Are we all deaf, dumb, and mute? No, I can't hear you. Scream.
Viva San Pedro!
So, and through the streets, they sing that, and they honor in St. Peter.
Someone will start the chant, and people always respond.
I lose my voice every year.
So almost like a call and response.
Viva San Pedro!
Just brings the people together.
I think everybody wants to feel that closeness. Everyone's there as a cousin, you know, or you grew up with them, you went to school with them.
Everyone's just so peaceful. Everyone just appreciates one another.
I think it's kind of people who epitomize Gloucester, in my opinion. It's the true people who really care about the tradition, who really hold this town in their heart.
This is a man-made island. So that meant if you needed supplies, well, you either had a long commute to Boston or you did it here. Up until the creation of the highway bridge in the 50s, when nobody left town. I know people that never had a car.
I ate fish 6 days a week, and I had spaghetti on Sunday.
Gotta have the pasta. It's Sunday. We have to have the pasta with zugo. It's not gravy, people. I don't care what anyone says. All the boats would be home for the Fiesta, because they're never home on birthdays. They're never home on your anniversary. I mean, my husband, we owned a fishing vessel, and with my first child, wasn't home. It's that one time a year that's the best time of year when just everyone comes together and saying, you know what? We don't know what's happened on that side of the bridge. We only know that our fishermen came home, because I've had quite a few relatives that didn't come home.
If you're at sea, if you're a fisherman, you're facing danger, and one person can do something that nobody else can do, but in doing that, they can save everybody else. So somebody else's gain is everybody's gain. everybody wins, and that's what a community is.
If Stewie won on a Sunday, I would be just as happy for him as if I won.
But you hope he falls too.
It's just in the end of the day, whoever takes it, he's the guy. He was meant to do it. It was his year.
It's a real strong brotherhood that we're all very proud of.
If you were mad at your neighbor all year, you'll get along with him that week. You seem to put all your differences aside.
If you're the next walker behind the guy that's about to walk, and that guy goes out and gets hurt, you're jumping in the water to go and help that guy.
You know, we have to watch each other because people do get hurt, so we want to make sure we take care of that.
Would you say this is dangerous?
Oh, absolutely. Ain't no question about it. It's definitely dangerous.
You know, bruises, bumps, whatever, it happens.
Going out there and walking, it's a battle, you know? And coming in uninjured, you won that battle.
I don't think you see too many sane people lining up to do it.
You gotta be a little nuts, I guess, to do it.
So once a competitor is there staring down into the pole, once they take that step out there, that's it. They either are gonna walk it or they're gonna fall off.
Some of these guys slip and fall and whack themselves pretty good, and then take a second whack when they hit the water.
You gotta take a beating.
You can get spinal injuries. I mean, it's crazy.
I've seen guys hit their head.
I've seen people get their eardrums popped out.
Hit their face.
I got 6 stitches under my chin.
Knocked teeth out.
I actually broke my ribs 3 times. That's the most common. That's the most common injury is ribs or skull or whatever, or you know what.
I mean, I joked around. I said, well, if your husband wants to have kids, but you really don't, have him walk the pole, because he'll never have it again if you don't know how to walk. I'm telling you,
That's why I have all girls. I have 3 girls. The Greasy Pole killed me.
With Grease Gang. That's us.
Somebody's gonna go up on top, Tom, and clean up this one nail.
What you got is food-grade grease, biodegradable, very slippery, but the consistency is perfect.
There is a process, there is a method to it.
We rub it in, put oil in it, rub it in, pile more on.
Just pack it on, pack it on, pack it on.
Oh, I hate every minute of it.
It's gonna fall. I'm gonna fall. Yeah, nothing. Tommy, this one's empty. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get underneath, get underneath. I can't, I'll get covered if I call people. Whoa, what's wrong with you?
We had a little Italian flavor to it.
Is it slick today?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, very slick.
Sorry, I didn't do that. I'll tell you. See mine? Mine looks nice and feathered in it.
Back in our day, it was axle grease.
Just like this black gunk.
It would make a slick of oil, and that's why, you got to stop that.
And it's now Crisco, biodegradable, edible Crisco. Very slippery still.
Doesn't hurt the seals and whales and fish.
Which I would say that grease is very controversial in town.
I do say, yeah, the grease sucks today.
It is what it is.
I heard it was a lot easier.
Is Crisco slippery? Yes. Is grease slippery? Yes.
It's nothing compared to what it was back then.
If you want to complain about it, call your congressman. Don't waste my time. And staple that to the friggin' thing. We have a sign up at the St. Peter's Club the Wednesday before. And everyone and their mother will call you, and their aunts and their uncles. My nephew this, and my nephew that, and my son this, and my cousin that. And if you put them on that list, they see that, they think they're on. That's the problem. It gets difficult. So who are these guys?
Is Tom tough?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's had his fair share of words with me.
Can't have the inmates run to the asylum because someone's going to get hurt. It's got to be organized.
People ever threaten you over this?
Oh, all the time. I had to have bodyguards a couple years ago, 2 state troopers. It got really crazy, but I had to.
Hey, get out of here.
Just silly stuff. So you have 3 days of the Greasy Pole.
So if you went on Friday, you moved to first on Saturday, and then if you went on Saturday, you moved to first on Sunday.
So usually Friday, younger guys trying to make a name for themselves. The Saturdays, guys have been walking for a few years, got a little bit more experience. Some younger guys, new guys here and there. But Sunday is champions.
So the courtesy round is just so that everybody gets to have their name called and everybody gets a shot to walk. And then after that, it's game on.
Every time, the first time the walkers get up, before we start, we have a little prayer and we say, nobody grab it the first time. Everybody understand that, yes.
Some guys get lucky. They have the right steps, they have the right momentum, they have the sun is just shining perfect, and they get to walk out there, but you avoid it. You do this, you touch it, you jump off.
So what happens when somebody breaks that rule?
They meet the sheriff.
You got the enforcer, God rest Master Giambaco, he was our enforcer out there.
My brother, they dedicate him to sheriff. Well, one time, everyone went right to the edge or whatever, and there was one guy.
I know that year very well, 1979. It was Sunday of Fiesta, and he ran right out to the end and grabbed the flag.
I was 9 years old. I'm on the beach. I don't think anybody knew the rules more than I did. I was so into it. And he starts swimming in. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm pissed. I'm 9 years old, I'm pissed.
And they're all saying, you gotta bring her back. What are you doing? You gotta bring her back.
This guy is in the water. He looks back at us. He goes, guys, I won. He starts pushing the flag and headed for the beach.
It's a bad move in his behalf.
Salvi Benson turned around and said, nobody leave this pole, everybody stay right here. And I remember him pointing out, Matza, JB, go get him.
So Salvi and Matza dive in like 2 sharks going after him. My buddy Joe Biondo pulls a kid out of his dinghy and throws him in the water. He starts rowing in after him. So this whole crowd is converging on the beach.
I'm like, this guy's dead. These guys are crazy, tough bastards, And I'm like, this guy's dead.
Yeah, Martha swam all the way into shore. We got to the shore. We did get the flag back. He made an offer he couldn't refuse.
And the guy gets up and he raises the flag and all the tourists go, hey! And my buddy Matza, who was a Golden Gloves boxer, comes out of the water and literally knocks him out, breaks his jaw, knocks him out cold on the beach.
Matza don't talk. No, Matza don't talk. He talks right here.
Aborta desta. You're up here, the same thing as everybody else up here. Stay with the rules and do what you gotta do. That's all.
Yeah, he broke his jaw. He laid him out. Ambulance took him out of there. Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
They get the flag, go back out there and put it back up, and the tourists are going, wait a minute, you win, and then they beat you up and they put the flag back up. What kind of an event is this?
I remember the headlines the next day in the paper, and it said, Greasy Pole walker pummeled on the beach.
I was so petrified. I'm saying, how am I gonna tell my mother I ruined all my whites? She says, did you defend your brother? I went, uh-huh. Well, then, good for you. That's what you're supposed to do. Yes, yes.
And you know something? By him doing that, no one will ever do it again.
That's how we earned the name Sheriff, yeah.
There's rules to follow.
Beloved New England tradition is back. Of course, it is the famous Greasy Pole competition.
I think the way to get ready for this event is a lot of pre-game liquid courage. You try to be nimble, and you fall. This guy does a really nice job, gets there, touches the flag, but he's done. Oh, he's on the injured list. No children for years. And for this gentleman, that's an NBA foul right there. He took a dive. We've seen that many a times. This guy, nimble. I'm done.
Just watching the video there, I separated my shoulder, I pulled my groin, and I got a concussion.
There you go.
There's something different about Gloucester. The people that come into this town somehow feel that. Really just the raw emotion that comes out.
Whoever comes to Gloucester, it's like, you always mention Fiesta, and they always love Fiesta.
Everyone looked forward to Fiesta when you're a kid. Even when you're an adult, you know? You know, we're gonna go watch the Greasy Pole. You know, all our heroes are out there, basically.
You're representing, you know, and if the history runs deep, it's a good feeling.
So I was always behind Peter Frontero. Peter Frontero.
Peter Frontero, Peter Frontero, Peter Frontero.
Peter Frontero.
Peter Frontero.
Peter Black Frontero. Peter Frontero.
Peter Frontero, and he would win every single Sunday.
Peter Frontero, see ya!
I got a little nervous.
You're good? Yeah,
Should I just say Peter Black Frontero?
Just say, yeah, I'm Peter Black Frontero.
Keep it short.
I'm Greasy Pole champion.
Sure.
This is just like one of those introduction lines.
Okay.
You know something? He's the greatest of all time.
He's the Greasy Pole. Like, he is like the Greasy Pole.
Watching the Greasy Pole as a young kid, to me, it was just the most fascinating thing in the world. It really was. I don't know what it was. It just amazed me. Just growing up as a little kid, I heard, friends, family members talking about how really good my dad was at walking the pole. And he only walked 5 years and he won 3 times. I was 7, 8, is when I really thought, like, I'm gonna be a Greasy Pole champ someday. I'm gonna walk this thing, and I'm gonna win it once, you know? I was determined from that age on. And I was always about making my dad proud, and I thought the best way to do that, to make my dad proud, is I'm gonna be a champ like him. So the day I decided to walk the Greasy Pole was Sunday, 1984. I was 14 years old. I woke up, I said, I'm walking the pole today. And I thought, yeah, I'm crazy, but I'm gonna do this. I'm walking down, I get halfway down in between the firehouse and the thrift shop behind the church, and I don't want to bump into my dad. He doesn't know about it, as far as I know. I just don't want to see him, because I know he doesn't want me out there. I know he would not let me walk. No kidding, I walk between, I'm going up these stairs behind this thrift shop, and there's my dad. He looks at me and he goes, "You're trying to walk the pole?" And I go, "Who said that?" And he goes, "I don't want you out there. You hear me? Don't go out there." He's like, "You go out there, I'm gonna kill you," figure of speech. So anyways, I go down. I didn't know what to think. I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually gonna walk. Like I said, it's my first time ever on the Greasy Pole, and I look and I see the grease and I see the flag, and I'm like, holy, what did I get into? I've never done this. I don't even remember. I black out every time. When I start to walk, it's over. There's just total focus on the flag, nothing else. I don't care about the fall. I didn't care about the grease. I didn't care about the pole. All I cared about was the flag.
Peter Frontero, this guy's got a good shot at it. Walking for his knuckle, Joe Dolly Frontero. Got a good shot at this. Good chance, good chance. Good chance, good chance.
We got a winner, Chuck. Peter Frontero.
I just walked right out and grabbed it, and it was just one amazing thing. Unbelievable. When I grabbed the flag, I hit the water, and all of a sudden, I go, oh my God, my dad's gonna kill me. First thing I thought. My cousin Peter Frontero, same name, he swims up and he grabs me, he's all excited, I won, and I'm like, first thing I say to him, Pete, my dad's gonna kill me. And he looks at me and he goes, what are you talking about? You get to the beach, he's gonna be crying. I'm like, yeah, okay, my dad's gonna cry, okay. The whole time, I can't swim, I forgot how to swim. I got the 7-foot flag, right there, 7-foot flag. I'm 5'2" at the time, 114 pounds maybe. I couldn't swim, couldn't hold the flag. I'm like, so my cousin Pete grabs the flag, Coast Guard comes over, I grab the boat. So they lift me up, and he goes, take your flag. And I get it, and I hold it up. And I look through the crowd, and here comes my dad. I saw him coming through, and he's going like this. One of the best things I ever saw is a tear come out of my dad's eyes. I turn around to my cousin Pete and I go, Pete, how did you know? Because I told you. Just the most unbelievable feeling.
Little did you know, it was the beginning of a great run for him, literally and figuratively.
The day would go by, you'd do all the festivities, you get all psyched up, you know, you'd buy your costume the week prior and you get all geared up for it and you get one shot at it. And Peter would always win it.
Let's shake the pole a little bit and we're, you know, let's do this. And no one wanted Peter to win it because he won it so many times.
He did it again.
Sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes it's like, yeah, big deal. He won a greasy pole, the flag, big deal. I mean, people look at it, they don't know anything about it. And they're like, yeah, whatever. But growing up with it, in your family, in your blood, hearing the stories as a little kid, you know, it's no different, you know, from a kid growing up with Muhammad Ali or whatever as their dad, you know what I mean? And hearing the stories and wanting to be that champ. That's what I gathered out of it. I want to be one of those guys. And for whatever reason, I became the guy I am today. As I got older, I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna start inviting them to my house.
You know, he invites everybody over there and he treats them like he's like they're his kids. The Greasy Pole is an all-day event, and it starts at Peter's house.
So I brought everybody together. We are a brotherhood because I think because of that, more so than back in the day. I love having the parties. I love having the guys here. I love having my family and friends, close friends that still walk it, being part of it.
He was an influence on the younger generation, not only because of his, you know, him winning and being the best of his time, but because of his passion.
The walkers today are different from back in the old days. You know, these guys are fishing. We're all working on fish, and then we had 2 days off, and we would go out there, and these guys are practicing in their backyards. Derek Hopkins, kid won 3 days in a row. His dad built him a greasy pole in his backyard. He's practicing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly did that, and I'm sure other people did too. And then once you're kind of old enough and your parents let you, you go out to the real one.
It's kind of like you introducing yourself. So Derek Hopkins, 2019, Friday, Saturday, Sunday champ, and 2022 Sunday champ.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. Do you, you want to restart it again since the dog was... My father won it when he was younger and used to just think it was so cool seeing all the guys come up out of the water covered in grease, and, you know, always couldn't wait to do it myself.
I was working in Boston and there were these piles of poles. There was probably 200 of them. So I made a perfect replica of the Greasy Pole with the platform, and I hung the flags, the Italian flag, American flag.
I was like around 4 years old when he brought home that little mini backyard Greasy Pole.
All right, Derek, have at it. He's small. He's only 4. He's 4 years old. He's this big. He's not going to hurt himself. I actually had a little karaoke machine, and I'd come out here on the deck, and I set it up one time, and I had Derek. He had a few of his my nieces and nephews, his cousins. I told them to all dress up like Halloween. Whatever Halloween costume you have, you come out. There was probably 6 or 8 of them on the pole, and I was the announcer, one by one. All right, Derek's next, or Jenna's next, or here comes Andrew, you know, and on, and they would walk. But he would, out of all those kids, and a lot of them were bigger than him, he was only 4, he could get to the end all the time, at a young age. He had balance, and basically what you need out there is balance.
Is there added pressure to be walking in your dad's footsteps?
There was a little bit, that first year, because people would see videos of me walking growing up. So when it finally came time for me to do it, it was like, you know, everyone's watching. Now is the time to step up and do it. Because it's one thing to go out and walk it when no one's watching. Then you got boats lined up, half the town on the beach, and it's a totally different atmosphere. You only get one go.
Knew he had the ability, but on the day, on that Friday, I saw him, and he looked like he might have had one too many. And I didn't think, I turned to my wife and said, he doesn't have a chance. He comes off for his first courtesy walk.
Let's go, buddy. Get it. There you go.
And walks out to the end of the flag. And I was like, oh boy. I guess he does have it.
Once I stepped up, I looked out and I was like, okay, I've done this a million times. Let's just do it one more. And kind of just flushed everything out of my head. before I can overthink about, well, which foot do I want to go first, this or that. Before I can overthink anything, you just black out and go. And then it's just over like that. Once you hit the water, you go under, and it's this moment of like silence. And then the second you break the surface, it's just air horns and cheering and people coming over and splashing water and screaming. Everyone's all excited, and it's kind of a surreal moment.
He proved us wrong that day.
They're all looking for the Triple Crown, okay? They want to get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Very, very rare to do.
Once again, I knew I could do it. The craziest thing when I think back to it is the fact that I actually got the chance, because there was tons of guys that are good on Friday, and a lot of guys that got real close, probably should have had it, but everything, the stars aligned for me that day, and I ended up getting my shot, which that's what I find to be the craziest.
He won Friday, Saturday, and Sunday without batting an eye. That's what they're all looking for. That's a dream, okay? And saying that doesn't happen every day.
I was like, all right, here we go. Everyone wants to see, 2 years off, that was the big deal, a couple pounds, a couple years, like, can he still do it? So there was a bit of pressure going into it this year. It's a cool feeling that there's a lot of times where it feels like all eyes are on me. So like when I walk through there, it's just kind of everyone turns and it's like, there he is, champ's here, this or that. And it's an exciting feeling, but then sometimes it's like, you guys can go back to what you're doing, and you don't need to keep looking.
You were meant to win that flag, and I'm so glad you did.
I appreciate it, brother.
And you're such a good dude.
Yeah, there was a bit of pressure because everyone wanted to know, can he do it again? Did he lose it? Does he still have it? I had a good feeling, but there was no way to tell because I hadn't walked it in 2 years. So it was really just a matter of getting up there and doing it. And my courtesy walk was my only practice since 2019. I was like, okay, I still got this, I didn't lose it. Well, if I get a shot, because now there is a guy in front of me, I was like, I think I can do it.
I was real nervous, but I felt natural. Go now.
So I stepped up, took a good look, and then as usual, before I can overthink what foot's going first, the wind, this or that, you just black out, tune everything else out, and go. Well, it happened so quick, but I think honestly, first couple steps was, I could feel, I was like, okay, this is just like I remember. It was, great feeling, because of the two years off, you miss that kind of stuff. You don't realize you miss it until you see it again.
He's already being mentioned with some of the greatest, which is cool, it makes me feel proud.
It's cool to me because growing up, you hear all those names and you want to be like them, and now I'm kind of sitting in that seat and doing what I had hoped I would do when I was younger.
He just makes it look way too easy. My opinion, he's going to be the greatest of all time. He's going to break everybody's record.
Derek Hopkins is an amazing walker. I think he'd probably shatter my record. Yeah, he might break my record. Yes, he probably will. And I'll be the first one there to shake his hand when he does. I don't want my record to be broken, but hats off to him if he does it.
Only time will tell. No way to know. But we'll see. Gloucester is a pretty tight-knit town. everyone kind of knows everyone, and for the most part, everyone gets along.
That's a unique, special thing, and you can feel the passion of the people. It's something unique about it.
The Fiesta weekend is a town-wide event.
It's our family tradition, something that brings me back to my roots, something that my grandmother did, my grandparents did.
It's the whole town coming together and celebrating and honoring St. Peter, and honoring our fishermen, and honoring the dedication that it takes.
Emil Durkheim, famous sociologist, said that ultimately that what people are doing when they worship a god or a saint is worshiping themselves, worshiping society. So I think the key here is that this is a community. This is a group of people who have a sense of belonging together, and that belonging stretches into the past. And they want it to stretch into the future. So like this is one moment along that path. It's a path of continuity, right? For future generations to look back and to see that. It's like being with a big family. When we think of the ways we relate to a family, there's a sense of like giving, of total sacrifice. To give and to take and to know somebody's gonna be there for you like you're gonna be there for them. If you've got a few hundred people like that, that feels really good.
Gloucester, like a lot of traditional working communities and working waterfronts, is in a state of flux. 90% of our seafood in this country is imported. The guys that are out there right now are getting prices that my dad saw in the 80s, and that's not fair.
Because the fishing industry's gone, so many boats used to donate. They had a donation board everywhere of what boat donated, how much to the Fiesta every year. And that's how they did it, you know?
I think that we're absolutely in a dire time of transition right now. The generations are moving on. There's people getting older.
We have the 100th anniversary coming up in a few years, and I want to make it to that. And, you know, before I leave this planet, I want to make sure that I pass it on. I've always made a point to be part of it, right? So it doesn't die out. Traditions die out.
It's an uplifting event for our city, and it would be, I think it would be devastating to lose Fiesta.
As each generation moves on, if the younger generation isn't as passionate, you know, it could, if they're not willing to step up and, you know, carry on tradition, it very well could fade away.
It's unimaginable. I mean, I honestly can't imagine Gloucester without the St. Peter's Fiesta.
You know something, when we were little, we didn't appreciate this place. You know, the older you get, the more you appreciate Gloucester.
One of the neat things about Gloucester and being a historian here is you really start understanding how unique we are. There's something real about Gloucester.
There is no place on earth like the place we come from. They say this city sucks. You suck. This city is one of the most beautiful places on earth, and there is no place like it. We are a part of a crew of savages that get to participate in a game that no one else on earth gets to do. I want to hear you like you are the only ones on earth who get to walk this. Let's go!
How would you describe the makeup of this place?
Unique, wonderful, kind, generous, yet powerhouse. Yes.
I hear this from so many people. There's just something here that they can't find anywhere else.
That ocean can make you the happiest person. You're laughing, you're splashing, or you can find out that ocean took someone away from you and break your heart forever. No matter what we are, when it comes to a crisis, we're like this. It doesn't matter. And it's remarkable because I'll tell you something, I've been through a lot, and if it wasn't for the people holding me up, you don't know. You just don't know. And I wish everyone could have that kind of security. I wish that on every little child that's out there having a little bit of problem, to have that today.
I mean, I travel all over the world for work, and There's no place like this.
We would pick different things around the neighborhood, whether it was a fence or a curb, and you'd walk it and pretend you were walking the Greasy Pole.
Yeah, I used to like walk backstops of softball fields.
Some people walk the train tracks. I've heard that because the flatness on the top of the train track is similar to the flatness on the top of the pole.
Well, my name's Howard Blackburn. I was lost for days at sea in a winter storm in my trawler made in 1883. With frostbite hands, I rode for land 60 miles away. Poor Tom, before he froze to death, had nothing good to say. He said, Howard, you won't make it to shore. There ain't no power in our hands like before. But I said one thing, the survivor understands. You roll with your heart, not with your hands. You roll with your heart, not with your hands. Hey!
I have a fear of sharks, yes. I think that's why I never fell off the pole.
What was your strategy? I mean, how did you win all those?
I grew my toenails long.
Have I done the Greasy Pole? No. Will you see me on the Greasy Pole? Never.
I lost all my fingers, half of both my thumbs. I ran around in Gloucester bar for fishermen's and bums. I bragged I'd sailed the Ora in a tiny sloop alone. They laughed until I did it twice and broke their scarpatoon. But I said one thing, this survivor understands. Yeah, you sail with your heart, not with your hands. Hey!
You would know that everyone's relatives are coming. Everyone was here enjoying a feast. Open house everywhere you went. We cooked for 300 people and didn't even know half of them. The mentality is Sicilians, if God forbid something happens, they're gonna go with a full stomach. I don't know.
I lost all my fingers, half of both my thumbs. I ran around in Gloucester bar for fishermen's and bums. I bragged I'd sailed the Ora in a tiny sloop alone. They laughed until I did it twice and broke their scarpatoon. And I said one thing, this survivor understands. Wow, you dream with your heart, not with your hands. Hey!
My grandfather was a multi-time champ in Italy. Always said to me, stare at the flag. You look at your feet, you're gonna fall.
Focus plus footwork equals flag. That's my motto to everybody.
You know, I would do it if St. Peter himself came down and walked that Greasy Pole. Otherwise, I'm safe on the sidelines.